So welcome guys. Today I'm going to be showing you how to connect your backend to your front end form. There you can get form data and every other stuff. So first thing is first, I need to initialize the backend project by doing the npm init-y. This will automatically set yes to all requests. So currently we have the package.json file here. So for this I need a JavaScript file, so I can just simply do touch.app.js. So it creates a JS file for me. So for our project, we'll be using Express, so I can just do npm install Express. So while this is being set up, over here we need to set our main JS file as app.js. And okay, so our Express module has been installed. If you see right here is a dependency. So another thing we need is we need nodemon. So npm install -d nodemon. So install nodemon as a dependency. This will enable Node.js automatically reload the server whenever any changes are being made. So for this, we'll be using for our view template, we'll be using EJS as the Express view templates, and we'll also install that as well. Having a very bad network. Okay, so now we have npm install EJS. So if you see right here, nodemon has been installed as a dependency, as a dev dependency, unlike the other dependencies. So here, first things first, we need a start script. So start, we need start as node app.js, and for our dev, we need nodemon app.js. So okay, I shouldn't have actually saved. Let me just do a comparison. So it seems the difference is that EJS got installed while I tried making changes to our app.js file. So let me just add that in right here. Alright, save, and we can close this guy, check again. Okay, so that's good. So right now, we can come here and do const app should be equals to require express, and we can say app.use express. Sorry, app. Sorry about that. So const express should be equal to require express. So we can say const app should be equals to express. Yeah, it's okay. So that's the express function, and we can say app.listen on. You can just simply require const port should be equals to on port 3000. We can say app.listen on ports, and this should be a .then method, and we can say console.log console.log listening on port 3000, and if I do nodemon, I should get listening on port 3000. Let's just make this guy a little bit flashy by so listening on HTTP localhost. Using the string interpolation, I can just do ports. So if you notice, it's automatically saving. So I prefer doing it like this. So if we head over to our localhost right here, so I haven't sent a response yet. So by doing that, I can just say app.get this slash, and I can just do a callback request and then send the response. Let's say response.send hello world, and if I head over here and I refresh, I should get a response.send. Why isn't that working? Okay, so check if there's a type on your local host. Okay, yes, so this is supposed to be a column here. So if I refresh, it should send. Okay, so right now it's working. I just had a typo on my port here. So right now we have a response of sending hello world, and we don't want to manually be typing this in our response feed. So we can just create a folder here and call that view. This is where our templates will go into. So I can just create a file inside view and say index.egs. Now EGS is just like every other normal HTML template. I can just say this is the home page. I'll get back to this. So for this to work, we actually need to tell Express we are using EGS. So for this, I need to say const EGS will be equals to require EGS. So this is necessary. I think Express should actually identify this itself. So yes, under here we can just say app.set, and I want to set the view engine. If I spell that right, it will be EGS. Yes. So I can do response.render index. So what this will do is that Express will automatically look into the views, and by looking into the view, it will render the index.egs file. But for you to do that, I need to do app.set static express.static, and I need to set that to public. And so this one right here will actually look for any public folder. That's where our JavaScript will go to. So I need to create a public, and if I go in here and I say style.css, okay, So I believe this should be all. So let's try again one more time and let's see. So fit to look up index.js. Okay, so we didn't tell Express to look up the views folder. So for that, we need to do views. I want Express to look up the view folder for us. So let's refresh. This should work. Okay, good. So right now we have our blank home page, as you can see here. So let's just try to display an h1 tag. Welcome to the home page. And see, upon refreshing, it displays there. So let's get on to today's topic. So we want to be able to send the forms from this end over to our backend. So first we need an input. Let's just call this a normal text and give it a placeholder of enter name. And let me just duplicate this. Let's say I do this to be password. No, I don't want to be cranky here. Let's just make this somehow more legit. Address. Yes. So let's do this and one more field. Let's just say age. So I can turn this to date. It doesn't really matter. So you can set your date type there. This too would also be normal text. Now the trick here is this. Okay, I guess I should just let that be. Then you will know why the error occurs. So if we head over here and we just refresh, we should get those feeds. So let's put a button here that says type should be equals to submit. Now the things that you actually look for here is this button type which says submitting the form and this action. This action should actually carry on to whatever we send here. So if I do a app.posts, because in Node.js we have the post, we have the get, we have the put, and we have the delete. So let's say I do a slash send, or you can call this whatever you want. Let's just call this register. So let's call this register. This should also call a request and a response body. So let's just say response.send response.send data submitted. Yes, let's do that. Now, because we are dealing with forms, we have the request body because right now we are sending a request to the back end to actually store certain data. You get so let's just say register under this button for the front end aspect. And over here we can just say console.log the request.body. Okay. There's one slight thing I did forget to install, which is body-parser, because Express no longer allows body-parser to. It's no longer an inbuilt dependency in Express. So let's just go along. I will install that later on. But let's just do npm install body-parser. While that is installing, let's just get along with this. For these guys, we actually need name feeds of name. Let's call this name and let's give it an ID of name. Let's give this one address. Let's also give this address dates of birth. Okay, so if I save and I Okay, so now let's just try to type in something and say, okay, that won't work because we haven't actually given it the attribute. Attribute simply means the URL which we registered here under the post method. So over here, this could either be a post or a get. So we should actually give it a method of post because we are posting data onto the backend. And if I refresh and I attempt, this shouldn't work. But testing address. And if I just simply type this in, let's just say my date of birth was whatever date of birth I choose on user. Let's just say this. So this is supposed to send a request body, but because it is undefined, that's why I said we need express body parser, but it is now something that is built in separately. So express body parser, you can check on the documentation there if you want. But let's first of all import body parser. Const body parser should be equals to require body parser. Yes. Let's do this like this. So you can simply do the installation. I will leave the installation code for the dependencies we installed. So let's just do app.use body parser. Then now you see body parser is depreciated. Let's head over to their documentation. Let's see we have installed. Now we have required body parser and based on their usage, let's see what they say here. So this is what we need. App.use body parser.json. Now, by this, what this actually means is that um, body parser allows you to actually send data. Now, most times when we send data, those data show up on our URL. So we do not want that to happen. So that's why we need this extended as false. You understand? I'll put this at the top here. Prefer it at the top. So basically that's simply what we actually need for now. Let's try that again. So if I try to send Scott testing and I paste in any address and date, I should get. Okay, so you see right here we have name, address, and date of birth, which is exactly what I sent from the front end. Now, the reason this is possible is because I am sending a post request to the backend under the URL of register. When working with the backend, you might actually not be the backend person, you might just be a simple front end. You actually need to require this from the front end person. So I think this is actually what you really need. For those of us who actually would love to know more about how to use the static files, we could just head over here and just do the normal link. Now, the thing is this, because we already told Express that we are using the public folder, we don't need to actually redeclare this public here. We can just simply come over here and remove the public. But let's try that out. Let's see. If I do a normal, if I do a body and I say background color should be red, this shouldn't work because I am telling Express to look inside the public folder, which it already told me it's already looking at. So somehow we are stressing Express. So let's get over here and let's see what the problem is. Index styles of CSS. We have the body. We have background colors red. let's see. Okay, let's just try something else. Color to be blue. Let's try that and see what happens. Okay, now this isn't working. Probably maybe I'm missing something. Why isn't this working? This should be the public directory if I'm correct. Let's try again. Let's see. Express. This should be the static files. Because maybe I'm missing something here. This should be express app.set express static to be the public directory. Let's just check over on the documentation and let's see. So we are dealing with static files. Okay, so this is app.use, not app.set. Yes. Yeah, my bad. So by refreshing, it actually works. So I believe this is it. Let's just make this button a much styled component and all that stuff. So as a form, let's just do form here and let's do display should be flex, justify content center. Let's wrap this into a container and let's make this div and let's say width should be 100%. Display should also be flex, justify content center. So if I refresh, I should have a difference. Okay, good. So this guy went into the center now. So I want flex direction of the form to be column and yes, align items center. So here we have our form. Just let's give them a little bit of gap. So let's do it at 30 pixels. Good. So here we have our not so good, beautiful form. Let's say form input should have a width of let's make this 60% of the form that has a width of 80% itself. Just so this looks good and not crappy. Okay, so it will be better, but the height, let's make it 70px. The reason why I'm giving the height as px is because I do not depend on the height to change. I don't actually think the height will change, it's just the width because I need it to be relative to the stuff there. So for our h1, we can just do text align center. Yep, there we go. We have our not so good, beautiful form. So for the button, let's just style it with a width of 30%. Good. So height of 40px, background color of I love tea. Tea is a very good color. So color should be white. And yes, outline none, border none. So I believe we have a much better form than before. What else? Okay, let's just give the form a bit of box shadow. Box shadow should be 0px, 0px, 0px first. Then we have the RGBA. I hate this. 0, 0, we have 0.2 and let's see, let's make this 10px. It's looking a little bit good. Let's make the height to be 40 VH. Now this will look bad. This will look very bad. Let me just say 60% of the view height. This is our div. Height should be 90 VH. Okay, good. So we have a better looking form. It's still not impressive enough, but I think the responsiveness should be a little bit better. Then you can work on your media query and all the other stuff. For those of you who are interested in media query, I'll be dropping a video on that soon. So this will help you with your responsiveness. That's why I prefer using percentage instead of pixels. So the good thing about Express is that we can actually send this data back to the front end. So like this, I can just do something as I can just do const data should be equals to request dot body, and I can just say if I do response dot render, if I create a new page and I say customer, if I head over to our views and I just say customer.ejs, if I render this back, customers page, and I simply do an h1. Just watch the magic over here happen. Let's see. What I am about to do is that I am trying to send this data to the front end back. So by this, I can just put this. So I can just say user should be data. Now, if I refresh, let's go back here and I just simply say this should be user, because user is equals to data on the other side. Let's save. If I refresh and I say Scott, let's say trying again. If I go back and I just select the dates. Okay, so object of primitive value. So because this is actually an object, if you notice here, this is an object and not a simple straight string. I have to be specific based on what I want to import. So I can just say user dot name, because name here is Scott, and I can simply add more fields to it, and I can say user dot address, and I say user dot dates of birth. If I refresh, it's not supposed to work because I am using a post request and not a get request. So Scott once more, testing, sending. So if you notice now it's working. Scott Lexion, testing address. The user dot date of birth did not work while it starts. So okay, so my date of birth isn't spelled correctly. I have BRTH. I'm trying to say date of BRTH, so that is an error from here. So if I do submit again, it should work. Let's just make this form a little bit better. So name should be address, and date should be this. Come back, testing. Okay, so we have our data submitted successfully. So now we have the name, address, and testing. This video was a very long one. Now, the next video I'll be creating should be a Facebook clone. Let's try to clone Facebook using what we have just learned here.